In a world where kindness can sometimes feel like a forgotten language, and ambition often drowns out compassion, there lived a man who chose humanity as his sole purpose. He owned almost nothing, yet he gave everything. This is the true story of Abdul Sattar Edhi, the man of mercy, whose life proves that one person can truly change the world. Our story begins in 1928, in a small town called Bandva, nestled within British India. A boy named Abdul Sattar Edhi was born into a modest family. His father was a humble trader, but it was his mother, a woman of profound compassion, who planted the seeds of his lifelong mission. She taught him a simple yet powerful lesson that would echo through his entire existence. If you have 2 pieces of bread, give one to someone who has none. Young Edhi watched, captivated, as his mother consistently gave away food, clothing, even their own bedding, to anyone in need. It wasn't religious dogma that guided her actions. It was an innate, pure sense of humanity. Then came 1947, a year that would forever scar the region. The partition of India and Pakistan ripped communities apart, displacing millions, shattering families, and igniting widespread chaos. Young Edhi and his family, caught in the maelstrom, moved to Karachi, Pakistan, a city overflowing with refugees, hunger, and an overwhelming sense of despair. He arrived with almost nothing, no education beyond high school, no wealth, no connections. But he possessed something far more valuable, an unshakable, profound belief that every single life matters. To survive, he began selling small items in the market. Yet, even with his meager earnings, he never hesitated to share what little he had with those who had even less. He understood, even then, that true wealth wasn't measured in possessions. But tragedy, in its cruelest form, was waiting. Edhi's beloved mother fell gravely ill, suffering from paralysis and a heartbreaking mental decline. The healthcare system of the time offered no solace. There were no hospitals equipped to care for her properly, no one to truly help. He watched, helpless, as the woman who taught him compassion withered away, abandoned by a society that couldn't or wouldn't provide for its most vulnerable. That pain, the raw, searing pain of seeing someone you love suffer and be abandoned by the system, became the crucible that forged his life's mission. No one, he vowed, his voice filled with determination, should suffer the way my mother did. If the system fails to care for people, I will build one myself. With just a few rupees, a sum barely enough to buy a meal, Edhi opened a small dispensary in Karachi in 1951. It was a single room, scarcely larger than a kitchen, but it was a beginning. He didn't wait for people to come to him. He sat by the roadside, extending a hand to anyone who passed: children, the elderly, the sick, the homeless. He offered solace, basic first aid, and above all, dignity. One day, he saw an injured man collapse on the street, and a profound realization struck him. What was needed was not just care, but immediate intervention. Without hesitation, he bought an old, battered van, and with his own hands, transformed it into Pakistan's very first free ambulance service. He drove it himself, tirelessly, day and night, a one-man emergency response team. When people asked him what drove him, what inspired this boundless energy and selflessness, his answer was always simple, yet profound: humanity is the religion I follow. Over time, Edhi's small, solitary service grew into something monumental: the Edhi Foundation. It blossomed into one of the largest and most impactful volunteer networks in the entire world. His ambulances became more than just vehicles. They were a lifeline, a beacon of hope for the poor, the sick, and the abandoned. It didn't matter who you were: Muslim, Hindu, Christian, rich, poor, even those ostracized by society. Edhi's people, his network of compassionate volunteers, would come. They answered every call, every plea for help. He didn't stop at ambulances. He opened orphanages for abandoned children, shelters for women fleeing abuse, homes for the mentally ill, and even morgues for the unclaimed dead. He believed that every life had inherent value, and he buried the forgotten with the same respect and dignity he would afford the wealthy. He once observed, with a touch of melancholy, "People have become educated, but have yet to become human. a poignant reminder that true progress lies in cultivating empathy, not just intellect. Despite managing an organization that handled millions in charitable donations, Edhi himself lived in a tiny, two-room apartment in Karachi. He wore simple gray clothes, the same style every single day, embodying a profound humility. He famously never took a salary from his own foundation. When asked why he refused the luxuries that his position could easily afford him, he would simply smile and say, "I'm just a beggar for humanity." His remarkable wife, Bilki Edhi, was his unwavering partner in this noble endeavor. Together, they ran the orphanages, personally caring for abandoned babies and finding them loving new homes. Together, they raised thousands of children, offering them a chance at life they might never have had. Some called him crazy for his radical selflessness. Others, awestruck by his unwavering dedication, called him a saint. But Edhi, ever humble, would simply say, "I am neither. I'm just human." Not everyone embraced his philosophy or his work. Religious extremists often accused him of doing Western charity, attempting to discredit his universal message of compassion. Politicians, entrenched in bureaucratic systems, mocked him for operating outside their established norms. But Edhi, with an unshakable resolve, never stopped. When war tore through Pakistan, when devastating floods ravaged communities, or when earthquakes shook the land, the Edhi Foundation was invariably the first to arrive. While others fled from danger, Edhi and his teams bravely ran toward it. During the horrific 2005 earthquake, his dedicated teams rescued hundreds of people from the rubble, working tirelessly, without sleep or rest. Driven only by their commitment to humanity, he firmly believed that no politics, no religion, and no nationality should ever divide people in times of suffering. Humanity, he asserted, transcended all artificial boundaries. As the years passed, Edhi's profound work spread not just across Pakistan but resonated around the globe. The world began to take notice of this extraordinary man. He was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize and received countless awards and accolades from organizations and nations worldwide. Yet, Edhi never cared for fame or personal glory. When journalists, eager for a soundbite, asked him how he felt about these honors, his response was always the same, dripping with genuine humility. "Don't praise me. Praise the people who give from their hearts." For Edhi, it was never about himself. It was always about the collective spirit of generosity and human connection. In his later years, Edhi's health began to fail him. He developed kidney disease, a debilitating illness. Yet, even then, he refused special medical treatment abroad, a luxury that was easily within his reach. His reasoning was simple, yet profoundly moving. "There are others who need that money more than me." Even from his hospital bed, weakened and frail, he continued to manage his beloved foundation. Visitors, expecting a towering figure, would instead find a humble, tired old man, still asking about ambulance repairs and the well-being of the children in his orphanages. His focus remained always on those he served. On July 8, 2016, Abdul Sattar Edhi passed away. He left behind no personal fortune, no grand properties, no material wealth. What he left, however, was far more enduring, a monumental legacy of love, tireless service, and an unwavering commitment to humanity. Today, the Edhi Foundation continues its vital work, running over 1,800 ambulances, countless orphanages, women's shelters, old-age homes, and hospitals. It serves millions of people every single year, a testament to the enduring power of one man's vision. His face now appears on Pakistan's 50 rupees currency, a fitting tribute to a man who became a national symbol of compassion, transcending religion, politics, and borders. In a world where fame often fades and power can corrupt, Abdul Sattar Edhi remains timeless. A man who proved, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the simplest act of kindness, multiplied by unwavering dedication, truly can change the world. He once said, with absolute conviction, "No religion is higher than humanity," and perhaps that's the fundamental truth we all too often forget, that kindness costs nothing, yet its value is immeasurable. That love multiplies exponentially when shared. And that one person, armed with nothing but a heart full of compassion, can ignite a fire of hope in the darkest, most desolate places. Abdul Sattar Edhi didn't wait for change. E embodied Italiano, he became the change. If Abdul Sattar Edhi's incredible story touched your heart, please share it, not just online, but in your daily life. Because the greatest way to honor his magnificent legacy is to live like him, with kindness and with humility, with an unyielding commitment to humanity. Thank you for watching and for allowing us to share this remarkable story. If you found inspiration in Edhi's life, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel for more uplifting content, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Your support helps us share these important stories with a wider audience.